Hey everybody, I'm Dr. H in Parachute, Colorado. I'm going to teach you a little bit about a frenectomy because I'm going to do one on myself because, hey, what else do you do on a Friday night around 9 o'clock when your wife's out of town, right? So this tag of tissue down here is called a frenum. Sorry, right here. That's called a frenum. I'm going to relieve mine some. Might do one spot, might do two, because some people have a really long, narrow frenum and it's not that big of a deal to snip it. Mine's going to be much more involved. I already know where my artery and vein are at. I already know what tissue I can take out, etc. Mine's not a simple clip and be done. It's going to require a little bit more of dissection. So instead of just nipping something or spraying a little topical anesthetic, I am going to be giving myself a lovely shot. Going to, after I'm numb, I will be using gauze to pull out my tongue, and then I'll be using this diode laser. There's lots of different brands out there, but I'll be using a diode laser to cauterize and cut back my frenum. And the thing that's nice about a diode laser is that it disinfects and cauterizes at the same time. That's the best part. I have had a frenectomy done before. It was done with a scalpel, and it was miserable for about 3 days. Actually, about 2 days in, I noticed that it was healing together because I was really pampering it, and it was tender and painful and everything else. And so when I was at my friend's house, I actually noticed it was healing back together, and I didn't want to lose what I had gained in that little surgery. And so I was in his bathroom at a party and started tearing it back open. Made me cry. It was so painful. But some things I learned there in that case: if you're going to use a scalpel, cut it open, suture it closed, and stick some gauze underneath there to keep it separated so that it doesn't heal back together. If you're using a laser, you don't have to do that. It's a simple dissection, and you should be done. So it's a fairly common procedure, and I did one just 2 days ago on a guy when I was taking out all of his teeth and doing dentures. Again, a pretty common procedure. So I'm going to do it on myself, and then I'll let you know how much more comfortable it is having it done with a scalpel versus a diode laser. And before I get myself numb, a reminder that when the oral surgeon did my first frenectomy, he just injected right underneath the tongue on those two spots, right there where the dissection needed to happen. The problem with that is the anesthetic is a liquid, it swells. And so he did that, and then he just immediately started cutting. I want to be able to see exactly where I want to remove tissue and everything. So instead of numbing up underneath there on the surgical side itself, I'm going to numb up back to where the nerve is entering the area. So I'm going to be numbing up all the way back there in the back on both sides to numb up the tongue in the front. Okay, so the syringe is empty, and of course, well, I did half a carpule on each side. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go do some office work and work on some hobby stuff. I'm getting numb a little bit there. It's really awkward numbing up on my right side because I'm right-handed, but got that done. And we'll start my procedure here in a minute. So I can already stick my tongue, it's getting numb right now, but I can already stick my tongue out this far. How far is that down my lip? That's what I want to see. Well, I can't feel it because it's going numb. Let's say that's about 20 millimeters, 2 centimeters down my lip. This is what my tongue looks like from underneath, okay? That's before I do anything to it. Okay, now we're done with our surgery. This is what it looks like right after. This is my little assistant. He helped hold the mirror so I could see what in the world I was doing. I brought my flashlight up against that. But this is what I have now at this point. So, and there's actually another little spot that I did down underneath. So, and tomorrow what I get to do is see how I can take these glasses off. Tomorrow I get to see how much discomfort I have from having done this with the laser in comparison to a scalpel. This was definitely much more invasive than what the oral surgeon did for me. The oral surgeon did for me when he did it for me with the scalpel back in 2005. Obviously, I had to go slowly. One, because it was hard to control my tongue because I had to hold everything else with it. I had to make sure that I didn't hit my salivary glands, salivary ducts, excuse me, artery and vein. So everything turned out as good as it can. That's about as far as I can go. Anyway, that's my frenectomy. For those of you that want to know what it is, and tomorrow I'll wrap up this little video and combine it all together so you know what the pain is like at 24 hours. Maybe I'll do a 48 and a 72 hours. So earlier I measured and I had, I think, 2 centimeters. So I'm numb until I can reach further. So I gained about 1 centimeter there. And I'm not even tongue-tied, but I gained a centimeter. So it's always fun to experiment on myself so I can talk to other people about what it's like to have something done. Again, that's a really invasive frenectomy. Is it worth the centimeter? That all depends on what it is you want to accomplish. And that's it. So happy Friday night. I'm gonna go home and take some Motrin. And of course, for those of you that know me, there's nothing better than front door parking late at night. So I can get out of here a little bit faster. Woohoo! I'm back here 24 hours later, bedhead and everything on a beautiful Saturday morning. I just applied some of this Aura Soothe. The wound, surprisingly, is not that painful. Nowhere near as painful as it was, or swollen. I had a lot more swelling, a lot more pain when it was done with a scalpel. Yeah. Doesn't hurt too bad to pull that back right now. That's nice. I did just apply some of this Aura Soothe, and it brought a tiny bit of relief off just immediately, and it's kicking in. This is supposed to help the wounds like this heal faster, feel better. You can put it in a socket if you need after wisdom teeth extraction and stuff like that. But so I've never used it, so this is kind of nice to give that a try too.